Hello, my name is Despaigne. I go to DuPont Manual High School, and this is my 2019-2020 science fair project. So wildfires have been a very prominent issue in our world, in our society for the past 2 years, starting off with the Amazon rainforest wildfires, which caused a lot of commotion, and then furthermore in that year, in the later months of December, the Australian wildfires, which lasted throughout the first beginning part of the 2020 year. In the Amazon rainforest fires, it was estimated that 2.2 million acres of land were destroyed, and even more in the Australian wildfires, it was estimated that 12.3 million acres of land was destroyed. Now, within those acres of land, you gotta imagine how many animals were in there, how many humans were in there, and how much housing and farmland were destroyed within those 14.5 million acres combined of forest wildfires. So obviously this is a very large issue that's arising for humans. As the years goes on, the amount of wildfires and the potency of those wildfires seem to increase at a very disturbing rate. I mean, we've always had, wildfires here and there. California suffers from a lot of them, but it seems that over the past decade, it's just been getting worse and worse and worse. And as you can see, 12.3 million acres is a very vast amount of land. And just as I said before, just imagine the animals, the humans, the building, and the farm life that is decimated by these fires. So obviously us as humans, we have to adapt to the situation. Our world is changing, we have to adapt with it. So we have to find a powerful, clean, eco-friendly but efficient way to take out these fires. And that is the objective of my project this year, is to find a clean, fast, efficient way to just delete these fires. That's the objective of my project, to find what substance will most efficiently take out these fires while being eco-friendly, because you don't want to take out the fires and, destroy, like, with a bunch of chemicals and destroy all of the wildlife, since, the purpose is to save the wildlife from being burned. So my hypothesis was, for the most efficient way to destroy the fire burns off of three things: fuel, oxygen, and its temperature. So my hypothesis was the substance that would most harshly and most efficiently take out one of these factors, either being it takes out the oxygen supply that the fire is able to get, or it takes away, it cools down the temperature to a point where it can't burn anymore, or the fuel, it just destroys the fuel. The fuel's not flammable anymore, therefore no more fire, while it being as natural of a substance as possible to try to eliminate those chemicals from harming the plant life that is being attacked by the fire. So in my background research, I found the statistics that I gave earlier in this presentation, and I found the way that fire is ignited with the ignition temperature, the way it takes the fuel, burns it, converts the fuel into the energy needed to to burn the fire, and also researched some the oxygen component of the fire burning. Alright, so for the actual project, I had the idea to, I would start a small fire. This is the procedure. I would start a small fire, 6 centimeters, a small Kindle, 6 centimeters cube. So it was a cube of Kindle that would fuel the fire, and it was 6 centimeters by 6 centimeters by 6 centimeters. I would place the Kindle in a safe area so my house did not burn down, and I would ignite it. I would let the candle burn for 1 to 2 seconds to make sure the fire was growing, and once the fire had taken the candle and started burning at its highest potential for that amount of candle, I would use a device to drop down the substance to try to extinguish the fire with a contraction that's kind of similar to the jets, the firefighting jets that drop the substance to take away a large area of fire at a time. So the substances I used was water, a mixture of dirt and water, 3 parts dirt, 1 part water, a mixture of dirt and water, 1 part dirt, 3 parts water, and Coca-Cola, just to throw it in there just to see. We had 4 different trials for each one. The first trial used only 0.5 ounces. The second trial used 1 ounce. The third trial used 2 ounces. And the fourth trial used 4 ounces. That would be dropped from the device, which was just a cup with a lever. You could pull a lever, the substance falls on the candle in the fire. That was how. And then for the data, it was just time data. So I had a partner, which is my brother, time it for me he was instructed as soon as I pulled the lever to start it. I would say 1, 2, 3, go. I would pull a lever and he would start the timer. As soon as he saw, and also the device was held approximately 6 to 8 inches away, about this much away from the fire. And I would say 3, 2, 1, go. Start the timer, and he would start the timer and end the timer as soon as he visually saw the fire was put out. Unfortunately, the experimentation was inconclusive, since the human error was too large. Like almost 2/3 of the times were instantaneous, which basically means that it was way too fast. The times were not valid, since it was way too fast for him to actually perceive the fire being put out. But for future work, I would like to have a more official, more precise way of timing it, and maybe heat radars that could see the temperature droppage. After the temperature drops under his time, stop the clock. That'll be for future work, since this experimentation was sadly inconclusive. Maybe the amount of substance applied to the fire was too much for the amount of kindle. Maybe the temperature where the experiment took place was too cold. Lastly, another thing I would like to control next time was to maybe use a different type of candle, since the candle I used maybe was too weak to hold a strong fire life. So even though the project was inconclusive, it's still a very strong topic that we should focus on for the future, especially if the wildfires continue to grow at a rate that they've been growing for the past decade.